In a moment of gross misinterpretation of his own new powers, Miles Morales of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse claims that his hand getting caught in Gwen's hair was puberty. Well, that may not have literally been the case, but in an odd sense he was right. His experience becoming Spider-Man is one of growing up and growing into himself. Throughout the majority of the movie, Miles does not fit in. He doesn't feel like his police officer father understands him, he feels like an outcast at his new school, and later on, he's the least experienced of the Spider people. In spite of that, he has a strong sense of who he is and what he likes. The establishing shot of his character shows us him listening to Post Malone and drawing some of his personal graffiti designs. It's then revealed that he's putting off packing his stuff to go to the high-end boarding school that he was enrolled in due to his father's lofty expectations. We know that Miles is smart if he's able to get into this school in the first place, but we can clearly tell that this isn't what he wants to do. When it comes to what he does want to do, he gets no immediate support from his father, and he certainly wouldn't from his classmates or teachers. The only person who does respect him in this way is his uncle Aaron, his number one role model. He encourages Miles to continue with his art and spends time with him listening to the same kind of music he does. It's implied that life for Miles was like this for a while, until he was bitten by the classic radioactive spider and turned into the newest Spider-Man. This moment in time was most likely the most turbulent in all of Miles' young life, with larger-than-life stakes that he's forced to take responsibility for, new powers that he doesn't understand at all, and as established prior, a whole new group of people that he fails to fit into via the Spider People. Quite ironically, however, it's this time that causes Miles to finally grow into himself in every aspect. With all of his insecurities and inferiorities practically laid bare, his self-confidence was at an all-time low, but is that not how most wearers of the mask are? 3 key events allow Miles to grow past these insecurities and do what he needed to do. The death of his Uncle Aaron gave him something to fight for, and his dying message to his nephew that he's, quote, the best of all of us, revealed his role model's own imperfections, and yet he still told his nephew to move forward. On top of that was hearing his father's confession of pride in him, letting him learn that he doesn't have to be somebody that he isn't for his father. He's already good enough for him. Finally, Peter B. Parker's advice that being ready to be Spider-Man is simply a leap of faith. These 3 things come together into one conclusive package when he creates his own Spider-Man suit. Not only is he willing to accept the responsibility of being Spider-Man, as well as be more responsible in general, but he also made the identity of Spider-Man his own. I mean, the spider on his suit is literally graffiti that he drew on himself. He knew he had nothing to be ashamed of, so he perfected his version of Spider-Man and took that leap of faith. And that leap succeeded, with him being the one to save the multiverse and defeat Kingpin for good. It's more than fitting that the last we see of him is in his own comic book montage, something that he had not received while the 6 accomplished Spider people before him had. By this point, Miles has grown into himself, accepted his father's love, became happy with his school life and dorm, and of course, he's accepted the responsibility of being his universe's new Spider-Man. It may not have literally been puberty, but Miles definitely grew into a better version of who he always was.